Hello, is this Monterrey Hospital?
Hello, Monterrey
Yes,
Hospital.
it's Shaun Damon speaking. I'm here to check on some of my players who you have in your care at the moment.
Damon, it's Damon. Oh,
Yep. So I was just wondering if I can get a rundown before our next game coming up in a few days.
okay. We have a few players from your club here at
Yeah.
the
So
moment.
I'm aware of Jose Ayala. Is there any update on his time frame?
Jose Ayala, he has broken his ankle, is going to be out
Right.
for another
Okay,
7 weeks
that's a
to
bit of a
three
serious
months.
one. And who else has joined you recently?
Milian Jimenez,
Million. Okay, and he's out for how long?
he
Sorry,
has sprained his ankle. He is going to be out for 7 days to
sprained
three
ankle
weeks.
ligaments. Brilliant. Okay, and is that all?
Josue Villalba, he has
Josue,
pulled his calf
okay. Well,
muscle,
yeah,
will be
that's
out
not as
for
bad, but still,
possibly the rest of this week.
just a week. Okay, no worries. And Ivo and Sergio have been let go now,
Yes, yes. Now left.
so they'll be available for today's game against LAFC for me.
They should be fine to play in today's game.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Yep, no worries. Hey, yep, I'll be keeping in touch because it looks like it's going to be a busy season
Thank you very much for sending
for
your
us. Hey,
players here. No doubt we'll
yep.
get to
Okay,
know each
cool.
other quite well throughout the season. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank
Muchas
you.
gracias.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
bye, Mr. Damon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. And today we kick off the Leagues Cup, which is a bit of a continental cup competition in North America, and we go stateside yet again to take on LAFC in the first round of it. So if you're looking forward to that, remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But as you would have been able to tell by the intro, we have suffered a few injuries since yesterday's episode where we took on Pumas in the Mexican Champions Trophy to kick off the season. We won that game 5-1. If you missed it, now that I've spoiled it for you, I will leave a link for it in the top right corner. But a very good win to get our first bit of silverware for the season in our first game in charge. So we've had one game off the back of that, and we have suffered, as you would have seen from that intro, a few injuries. We'll cover off the game first. We took on Club Necaxa in our first game of the season in Liga MX. This is one of the teams who will be joining us in the CONCACAF Champions League later this season. It was a good start for us for our A team, picking up a 3-0 win at home over these guys. We opened the scoring in the third minute, a corner. Paulo got his head to it from the Renan corner, put in the near post, and we go 1-0 up early, and then it was almost similar in the 20th minute, a corner that was cleared out, but Renan then found Wellison at the far post in an acre of space just to tap in for him to put us 2-0 ahead. That was the half-time score, and then with about 20 minutes to go, Puente finds Clayton. Good little finish into the bottom left side of goal from our right back, and we make it a good 3-0 win to start the season. You look at the stats, and we matched our XG, but I honestly don't know how we didn't actually score more goals in this game. 22 shots on target from 31. Club Necaxa, all of their shots being on target, but we really dominated this game. It was a really good first up performance from our boys, which is good to see and a really nice way to start the season. So we've got 3 points from our first game in Liga MX. We'll show you the table. We're up there, but obviously this early on doesn't mean a great deal. And the main thing is that we hopefully try and finish in the top 4 so we can skip a week in the playoffs, but the top 12, the next best thing, so we make sure we do make the playoffs, and we should be doing that. We really should be up amongst those top few teams. But a good start to the season for us in our one league game today, but we are back into cup football for today's game. We'll go back to the medical centre though, because as you would have seen from the intro, we are suffering a few injuries. Jose's one occurred right at the start of yesterday's game, so we were aware of that, but the next couple did it come in training. Milian Jimenez had a really good debut in that game and with a goal and an assist. Unfortunately, sprained ankle ligaments. He's going to be out for a little while. That means Hernandez will come into the first choice team, albeit we will not be using the first choice team throughout this League's Cup for the foreseeable future anyway. I think we're just going to save our top team for Liga MX, as this is a competition that the board aren't too fussed about, but with the way Liga MX works, I think the League's Cup's probably a more interesting watch early on in the season. But that was a training injury to Jimenez, so he's going to be out of that first team for a little while. And Josue Villalba was potentially an option for us in this backup team. He's just recovering from a pulled calf muscle, but won't be available for today. But we've got Sergio, one of our backup goalkeepers, is now back available, and so is our very promising young right back, one of our big buys in the transfer window, and Ivo Almaraz. He is back and will be ready to play today's game. So we'll give you guys a run through of this team before we get into the game, because taking on a team like LAFC, obviously we won't be too familiar with their squad, and we are using the rotation team, so we're going to have to run you guys through this team anyway. So Rodriguez, one of our transfer window buys, he goes into goal. Almaraz starting at right back. Then at centre back, we've got Gomez, who's been here since last season. We'll give you guys a quick look at him in case you've forgotten. Diego Gomez, a 21-year-old centre back who has good jumping reach, good height. Hitting could improve, but he's got a fair bit of potential, so we'll use him in this game alongside another transfer window buy from the previous manager, and Ocampo. At left back, Garcia. This is the third choice left back who got a little bit of game time towards the back end of last season when we had another injury in the team. He is going to be the backup while Ayala is out and Barber is in the first team. So he is our backup left back. We've got a few new faces in the midfield. Garcia and Avila, both new purchases, stepping in there with Nunez keeping his advanced playmaker role. He is our key player for this backup team. Then on the wings, Pidgeot is a player who was out on loan last season at Pumas. We've brought him back because despite being Colombian, he is quite a good backup at 3 stars for that right wing. So he comes back into the team instead of the younger Zuluaga, who is also Colombian, looks a better option based on his stats. So he's going to be our backup right winger for this season. Our first chance to get eyes on him in a game for our team anyway, because we did spot him a little bit at Pumas last year, but obviously he was cup tied in games against us. So he's back at the club and can hopefully do something. Another one of our new purchases on the left wing, the best rated player in this squad, and Carvajal. Really excited to see what he can do. And then our other new purchase up top, Solly, the tall striker, who's very much from the Puente mold. And then on the bench, we've got a lot of first team options that we can use who are still gaining their fitness. So if certain players in this team do not perform, we will have no issues with bringing our big guns on to try and change the result. But it's going to be interesting to see how this rotation team does. Very interested to see how Almaraz does in particular, as well as the likes of Carvajal as well. He's obviously a very good player currently in this backup team. See if he can put some pressure on Wellison in the first rotation. Now, one more thing to point out before we go into today's game as well is that the transfer window has closed here in Mexico, but being still in late July, it is open still in the rest of Europe in particular. So we're getting a few bids coming in for our players, and we have accepted one for Hector Lezo, a right winger who's only got 3.5 star potential. Look, he's very good physically, but 20 years old, I don't know if he's really going to hit that. His determination's okay. He's got fairly professional personality, so could get there, but a bid came in for him from Millwall in England, 2 million euros. It felt like a very good offer for a player who's only really ever going to become a fringe player for us. So we decided to accept that. It should rise to 2.5, and he will be off to Millwall in the Championship should he accept that contract. He was a player who was in our Bs/under-21s anyway, and it's a position that we got a lot of depth in. So that felt like a decent transfer to let go through. So we'll have another 2 million added to our transfer coffers, more or less. We'll get that up around the 14 million mark for the mid-season window. But if bids come in from Europe for some of our backup players, I might accept them depending on how regularly we will consider featuring them in the first team. If it's going to be first choice players, now that we can't replace them until the mid-season transfer window, I think we're going to have to try and hold on to those guys. Might have to make them promises to sell them next season, perhaps, hopefully, once we win this Champions League here in North America. But we'll see what happens at the moment. Just backups who we've had good offers for. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with the European transfer window still open, and South America as well, I believe. I think there's a few clubs who want our players from the likes of Brazil, but that's something to keep in mind. There are still going to be some transfer bids coming in for players both here and at other teams in Mexico, especially from, as I said, Europe and South America. So it could keep things a little bit interesting until the end of August anyway, with a couple more outs from perhaps some of our rivals. But I think that covers off all the admin stuff, and we will be back shortly from the Bank of California Stadium in Los Angeles as we take on LAFC away from home in this first round of the Leagues Cup. So we'll come to the team sheets just in case you're interested for this LAFC team. As I said, a few names here, well, most names here I will not recognise, but a few that I do. Alex Mighton is in there. Yep, that's really about it, to be honest, although Slaven Bilic is their manager, so a few familiar names there for LAFC, but we'll run you guys through our team sheet. I don't think there's any TV coverage, so we can't show you guys those graphical tactic things that they bring up before the game. So, yep, there's their team. A few familiar faces, Mighton in the starting 11 and Bilic on the sideline who we're going to be taking on. But hopefully, even with this rotated team, we can get a decent result here against a good LAFC team from the MLS. And LAFC are the home team. You can see them in their traditional uniform, the black with the gold trim, and they'll be kicking off playing left to right. We are in the blue and white stripes as per usual with the red socks playing right to left. We get the ball early doors for a header, which Carvajal will get Garcia, but nothing happening from the first highlight, but it is now LAFC with a throw in, which they get to Mighton over to Chavez, and they look to get a ball in the mix early, but Ocampo heads their way, and Carvajal, one of our star new signings, it has to be said, makes his way forward quite nicely down the left wing. Can he get a shot off? He does, but it is Rafael who's forced into a good save, tips that over the bar, but that's a good start from our rotation team, and we will have a corner here in the second minute. Nunez puts it in, but Gomez just heads that wide. In fact, it was a handball, so we give away a foul, and it remains 0-0 early doors. 8 minutes gone here, and it is a throw-in to LAFC, which we do hear clear. Avila tries to get to that, our Mexican midfielder that we brought in from Fulham. He nearly gets possession back for us, does, and we are now on the attack through Pidgelit, the Colombian winger who we've brought back from loan from Pumas. Over to Garcia, some of our new faces. Of course, there's a few in this team. There was a shot there from Garcia. It is blocked and it will go out for a corner. Luckily it was, because otherwise that shot was pretty poor, it has to be said. But we have another corner. Nunez puts it in. It's missed by everyone, so that's a bit dodgy. That was a little bit of a chance there for us, but no one got their head to it. Gonzalez pumps the steep, but that player for LAFC is well offside, and Rodriguez will tidy things up for us, and we look to get another attack going here from that long ball forward, and it's Pidgelit making his way down the right again. He's making his way forward. Good chance for him here. Has a shot. It's only just wide. Our best chance of the game so far, but it remains 0-0 after 9 minutes. And a throw-in for LAFC after 10 minutes, and not long after that last highlight at all, and it's Brian on the ball back to Fabricio Mighton. They're knocking the ball about quite nicely. LAFC, Almaraz, they've given a penalty. That looked more clumsy from LAFC there, and if it's going to be upheld as a penalty, which I think it might not be, it looked more clumsy, as I said, than anything, but that's a very soft penalty to be giving away. Won't be a good start for Almaraz should this be upheld, but I'm hoping it won't be, and of course it is. Okay, that's a bit of an unfortunate penalty to be conceding. We've actually looked quite good in these opening 10 minutes, but they do have a chance here, LAFC, to open the scoring from the spot. Mighton with the penalty just gets that past the keeper. Rodriguez guessing the right way, but couldn't quite get there, and Alex Mighton opens the scoring in this first round of the Leagues Cup, and we go 1-0 down early, despite looking the more threatening team in the opening 10 minutes based on what we've seen. But we're going to have to come from behind today, 1-0 down after 11 minutes, although we are having the restart now, so we might be able to get back into this straight away as Carvajal makes his way down the left after a good ball from Solly with the header. It's a good chance straight away, but Rafael, a good save down to his left, and it remains 1-0 after 13 minutes. And we have a throw-in, which unfortunately LAFC get on to. Now it's headed forward to Carvajal, Pedrita. We're keeping the ball just outside the box. Some good chances for us to hit right back. Carvajal with a shot, but Rafael is well positioned, and it does remain 1-0 to LAFC as they boot it out because one of their players is injured. So we'll see what happens there. He might have it to go off, but another highlight here in the 15th minute. LAFC getting it on, trying to get on the attack, but we are able to get the ball back and hopefully, as I said, look to equalise. We had a few good chances there straight after they scored, and we're looking for another ball over for Solly. Good chop opportunity here. One-on-one forces a good save out of Rafael, so we're coming at them pretty good. We've looked quite good in this opening 15 minutes, apart from the penalty that we've given away, really. So feel a little bit fortunate, well, unfortunate to be 1-0 down. They do clear it, do LAFC. We will have a throw-in, but it will remain 1-0 after 16 minutes. 39 minutes gone. We do have a goal kick here, do Monterrey, as we look to strike back against LAFC. We've been on the attack for the most part, but a few good chances, as I said, straight after they got that opening goal. But from there, we had some good chances, but since the last highlight, nothing too threatening. But we look to strike back right before halftime, and the ball goes forward to Carvajal, who's having a decent game, just on the edge of the box, nearly loses possession to Bedini, who did recover from going down earlier. It's a good ball forward for Carvajal. Nunez with a shot just wide. Another really good chance for us there, but we are still 1-0 down. And that is half time here in this first round Leagues Cup game away at LAFC. And because of the penalty that Almaraz gave away, we are 1-0 down. But apart from that, you see the big jump up they have for the penalty XG-wise. We've looked pretty good that first half, it has to be said. Not too sure how we're behind in this game. We should at least be level with them. We've had a lot of good chances, but just not getting them in the back of the net at the moment. But pretty happy with how we're playing, to be honest. There's a few players out there. Alvarez, I think that's largely because of the penalty, but he's not on a good rating, and neither is Nunez, which is a bit of a surprise. So I think we've got some changes to make at halftime to try and turn this around. But on the whole, actually pretty happy with how we're playing. Hopefully just get rid of some of these bad performers and things can click into gear in the second half as we look to come back from 1-0 down against LAFC. So we'll make those changes. Alvarez, Clayton will come on for him. Not the debut we were hoping for. Still think that penalty was a bit harsh, but not a good rating. And Renan can come on for Nunez. Hopefully that provides the impetus we're looking for, but it is 1-0 as we kick off the second half playing left to right. Shortly after the restart, and it is a throw-in for LAFC as they look to make a cushion gap here, which would be a bit harsh on us, but they do keep possession. Brian puts the ball in. Good header from Harrison Gonzalez, and as we've said, they have their cushion goal and they are 2-0 up at the 47-minute mark. And geez, it feels harsh on us, but they've been clinical with their chances. We haven't, and we did give a penalty away, which never helps as well. But that's not what we're looking for after those halftime subs. Gonzalez given far too much space there for that header, puts in the top right corner. And we've got a test here, 2-0 down at the 48-minute mark. As we have a corner shortly off the back of that goal, Renan to put it in. We get a head to it. It's just over the bar, though. A really good chance for us to strike back yet again. But at the 50-minute mark, we're still 2-0 down. 53 minutes gone here, and LAFC have a free kick from an offside from us as we look to get forward through Soli. But he was offside when the ball was played forward to him. But we do get possession back here, and Pedrolita started to make his way down the right-hand side. But LAFC got it back, albeit give it straight back to us. And now this is a good chance for Soli. And there's the finish. He is onside, and it's an assist from Pedrolita, who I actually think has been quite dangerous for us today. A bit surprised at the 6.3 rating for him at that stage. But he gets an assist, a good assist for him in his first game at the club, at least since we've been here anyway. He just sees the run of Soli. Hard to tell if he's offside or not from that angle, but a good finish into the left-hand side of goal, just making the keeper pretty much catching him out there. And we make it 2-1 at the 54-minute mark. We'll check the offside here. He is just onside, one of the centre-backs playing him on. A good finish from our new striker, and it's 2-1 at the 56-minute mark. Okay, just coming up to the 68-minute mark here, and I think we're going to make our third substitution. Avila is on a yellow heart and a 6.5 rating, so not having the greatest introduction back into this team. So what we're going to do is make that substitution as well as get Garcia to ease off tackles. We'll bring Barco, I believe, is going to be our only option in that box-to-box role, which is going to be interesting. Usually a defensive midfielder for us, but yeah, we'll swap out Avila for Barco because of that yellow heart, obviously. Not really a box-to-box midfielder, as these stats are going to show you guys, but he's probably the best option that we've got in this team. So we'll bring him on for Avila on a yellow heart. Obviously, you could come in for Garcia as well, but he's still got a bit more energy than Avila, so we'll do that and see if we can continue to come back in this game as it's 2-1 to LAFC as we come into the last 20 minutes. 76 minutes gone, and it is a throw-in for Monterrey as we look to get back on level terms. It's a shot from Carvajal from a tight angle. A good save there from Rafael, but they do keep it at 2-1. We've just been a little bit wasteful with our chances, it feels like. We've had enough of them to be equal in this game, but it's not happening for us at the moment as a goal kick there for LAFC as they try and get this lead back out to 2 goals. Good chance for Gonzalez, and then for Idaho and Rodriguez with a very shaky save, but keeps it out the back of the net, and it does remain 2-1 with 10 to go. 89 minutes gone. It is a throw-in for LAFC as they look to close this game out, and we might be exiting the Leagues Cup early on. If we can get a late goal, we might take this game to extra time or penalties. I'm not too sure which one it is, to be fair, but we're on the counter here. Pedrolita gets past his man, gets a shot off, and beats the keeper. And it is 2-2 right on the brink of the 90-minute mark, and we now have 5 minutes of added time to try. I was going to say pinch this result. It actually feels like it's been a pretty good game for us despite the scoreline. Carvajal on the counter, a good ball for his opposite winger, and he just gets that past the diving goalkeeper. And right before the 90-minute mark, we are back on level terms 2-2 as we enter injury time. 45 seconds left, and we have a throw-in as we look to pinch this game late. We put a ball into the mixer. They hit it back out to Garcia, our young left back, over to Barco. Carvajal back out to Renan just outside the box. Lots of space. Gets a shot off and we go 3-2 up with only 20 seconds to go. What a comeback. That is 2-0 down at the 50-minute mark, and we've somehow got this to 3-2. Our bench players, I think, providing some good impact for us there. You can see after they cleared that first ball, Carvajal passes us back to Renan. I was wondering what was going on there, but he's in a lot of space and just does enough to beat the goalkeeper, bottom left corner. A goal off the bench for Renan, and we go 3-2 up at the 95-minute mark. We'll pull the boys back for these last few minutes, just tell them to slow things down and hold on to this lead now that we've finally got it. Frequently time waste, be more disciplined, and we'll pull our wingers back, get them on support instead of attack. But it looks like we're going to pull off a somewhat miracle job. As I said at halftime, actually feels like we've played pretty well throughout this game, but the 2-0 scoreline also felt pretty harsh. But thankfully, we've come back into this and got 2 very late goals, and it is full time, and we will be going through to the next round of the Leagues Cup, but we really had to work hard for that one. 3-2, late goals important. As I said, though, at halftime, didn't feel like we deserved to be behind, and at 2-0 early in the second half, that felt pretty harsh as well, but luckily, we got some goals back through Renan, Pidgelita, and Soli. So a couple of new additions to the team, as well as good old Renan, who's proving so good in that advanced playmaker role. So good to see the bench impact was important with those halftime subs, as well as Avia Barco doing a decent job in the box-to-box role. And our rotation team, for the most part, get the job done there. And we will be going through to the next round of the Leagues Cup. And we might get another look at continental opposition before the Champions League kicks off in the second half of the season. So a good comeback win for us there against LAFC sees us go into the quarterfinals of the Leagues Cup, and it's about to be drawn now. You'll be able to see the teams on the right-hand side. Only one USA team left in this competition, and Columbus Crew, and one Canadian team, but it is an MLS team, so they count more or less as American, seeing as they can't play in the Champions League here in CONCACAF. That is Vancouver. They are one of the top dogs in the MLS, though, so that would be quite a good test if we ended up against them. But chances more than likely are that we're going to be playing a Mexican team here, which would be a little bit unfortunate, but if we're able to get through them, hopefully we can get another one of those MLS teams in the next round. But you can see the teams on the right-hand side: Pachuca, Columbus, Dorados, and Vancouver. But behind more or less my head is us, Club America, which would be a tasty matchup: Deportivo Toluca and Pumas. So those are the teams in the draw, and we will get on with things and see who we end up against in the quarterfinals of this Leagues Cup. As I said, not a competition the board are that worried about, but it would be nice to win it, especially if our rotation team can do the job for us in these games as well. It would show that we've got really good depth and should be doing well no matter what team we put out in the Champions League later this season. But first up, it is going to be the Columbus Crew. Where we get them? No, Dorados will be taking them on. Deportivo Toluca, and it is going to be against us, and it is our home league. That changed a little bit, but we will be playing Mexican opposition, Vancouver, taking on Pachuca, which leaves Pumas to take on Club America. So that is the draw for the quarterfinals of the Leagues Cup. So when we come back in tomorrow's episode, we will be taking on Deportivo Toluca in the quarterfinal of the Leagues Cup. So back to Mexican opposition, but hopefully if we can get through this, depending on the semi-final draw, which I think might also be happening today, we might leave that just to keep the suspense for tomorrow's game. But we'll see how we do against Deportivo Toluca tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll be taking on a team from the MLS in the semi-final, should we make it that far. But that will do for today's episode. If you did enjoy that come from behind win against LAFC and what ended up being quite an entertaining game, then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, and until tomorrow, we will bring you highlights from our Liga MX game prior to the Toluca game and the Toluca game itself. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.